Another day, another story. SpaceX on Wednesday scrubbed the expected launch of a replacement crew of 4 astronauts to the International Space Station that would have set in motion the long-awaited homecoming of U.S. astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who have been stuck in space for 9 months after a trip on Boeing's faulty Starliner. NASA had been set to launch a SpaceX rocket from Florida carrying a replacement crew for the International Space Station in a mission that would set up the return to Earth of Wilmore and Williams, stuck in space for 9 months after a trip on Boeing's BA-N opens new tab faulty Starliner. The launch was called off due to a hydraulic system issue with a ground support clamp arm for the Falcon 9 rocket, NASA said in a statement. With a Thursday Crew 10 launch, the Crew 9 mission would depart the space station on Monday, March 17, it said. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The U.S. Space Agency had moved up the mission by 2 weeks after President Donald Trump and his advisor Elon Musk, CEO of SpaceX, called for Wilmore and Williams to be brought back earlier than NASA had planned. A planned 8-day stay on the orbiting station has dragged on for Wilmore and Williams, a pair of veteran astronauts and U.S. Navy test pilots. Starliner returned to Earth without them last year. SpaceX's rocket had been scheduled to blast off from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral at 7:48 p.m. ET, 2348 GMT, with a crew of 2 U.S. astronauts. Wilmore and Williams have been working on research and maintenance with the space station's other astronauts and have remained safe, according to NASA. Williams told reporters in a March 4 call that she is looking forward to seeing her family and pet dogs upon returning home. It's been a roller coaster for them, probably a little bit more so than for us, Williams said of her family. We're here, we have a mission, we're just doing what we do every day, and every day is interesting because we're up in space and it's a lot of fun. The flight, known as Crew 10, normally would be considered a routine astronaut rotation. Instead, it has become entangled in politics as Trump and Musk have sought, without offering evidence, to blame former President Joe Biden for the delayed return of Wilmore and Williams. The demands by Trump and Musk for an earlier return were an unusual intervention in NASA's human spaceflight operations. The mission previously had a target date of March 26, but NASA swapped a delayed SpaceX capsule with a different one that would be ready sooner. When the new crew arrives aboard the station, Wilmore, Williams and 2 others, NASA astronaut Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gabunev, can return to Earth in a capsule that has been attached to the station since September, as part of the prior Crew 9 mission. Wilmore and Williams cannot leave until the new Crew 10 craft arrives in order to keep the ISS staffed with enough U.S. astronauts for maintenance, according to NASA. Wilmore and Williams flew to the station in June as the first test crew of Boeing's Starliner, which suffered propulsion system issues in space. NASA deemed it too risky for the astronauts to fly home on the Boeing craft. This led to the current plan to bring them home in a SpaceX capsule. Boeing built Starliner under a $4.5 billion contract with NASA to compete with SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule, which since 2020 has been the U.S. Space Agency's only vehicle for sending ISS crew members to orbit from American soil. Last year's mission had marked Starliner's first test flight with astronauts aboard, a requirement before NASA could certify the capsule for routine astronaut missions. Starliner's development has been plagued with engineering issues and cost overruns since 2019, putting it far behind SpaceX's Crew Dragon, which was developed under a similar NASA contract worth at least $4 billion. SpaceX has postponed the launch of its Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station, ISS, due to a hydraulic issue with the ground support equipment at the launch pad. The problem was identified less than 4 hours before the scheduled liftoff, leading to the cancellation of the launch with under an hour remaining in the countdown. The Crew 10 mission is critical for rotating the ISS crew and facilitating the return of astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who have been aboard the station since June 2024. Their extended stay resulted from malfunctions in Boeing's Starliner capsule, which was initially intended to bring them back to Earth. The Crew 10 team comprises NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nicole Ayres, along with Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency astronaut Takuya Onishi and Roscosmos cosmonaut Kirill Peskov. Once they arrive at the ISS, Wilmore and Williams, along with other crew members, are expected to return to Earth, potentially as early as March 16. The launch has been tentatively rescheduled for no earlier than Thursday evening, pending resolution of the technical issues. SpaceX's planned Crew 10 mission to the International Space Station, ISS, was postponed due to a hydraulic issue with the ground support equipment at the launch pad. The problem was identified less than 4 hours before the scheduled liftoff, leading to the launch being called off approximately an hour before the planned time. This mission is particularly significant as it aims to replace 2 NASA astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who have been on the ISS since June 2024. Their return was initially planned aboard Boeing's Starliner capsule, but mechanical issues with the spacecraft have extended their stay. The Crew 10 team, comprising NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nicole Ayres, along with Japan's Takuya Onishi and Russia's Kirill Peskov, is now tentatively scheduled for launch no earlier than Thursday evening. Their arrival will facilitate the long-awaited return of Wilmore and Williams, who have been preparing for their journey back to Earth. Reuters: the delay underscores the complexities of space missions and the critical importance of addressing technical issues to ensure astronaut safety. SpaceX's Crew 10 mission, intended to transport 4 astronauts to the International Space Station, ISS, was postponed due to a hydraulic issue with the rocket's ground support equipment. The problem was detected less than 4 hours before the scheduled liftoff, leading to the launch being called off approximately an hour before the planned time. AP News: the Crew 10 team comprises NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nicole Ayres, Japan's Takuya Onishi, and Russia's Kirill Peskov. Their mission is particularly significant as it aims to replace NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who have been aboard the ISS since June 2024. Wilmore and Williams' return was initially planned aboard Boeing's Starliner capsule, but mechanical issues with the spacecraft have extended their stay. The next launch attempt for Crew 10 is tentatively scheduled for no earlier than Thursday evening. Upon their arrival, Wilmore and Williams, along with other crew members, are expected to return to Earth, concluding their extended mission. This delay underscores the complexities of space missions and the critical importance of addressing technical issues to ensure astronaut safety. The extended stay of Wilmore and Williams highlights the challenges faced in space exploration and the resilience required by astronauts during unforeseen circumstances. The Associated Press Health and Science Department receives support from the Howard Hughes Medical Institute Science and Educational Media Group and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.